Aloha, friends and neighbors. Rollin Frost here, Kona astrologer. And have I got an eye-opener for you about astrology? First, we'll go through the sky mirror, and then I hope to be able to wake you up a little bit about this ancient science. Here's a teaser. My full name is Rollin Lee Frost. The Lee Frost on the lee side of the hill lasts the longest. It's a Viking name. I come from a family of Viking shamans. My father, Leland Frost, was a mechanical engineer. Rollin Frost, Scandinavians would come out of the sweatshop and roll in the snow to raise their consciousness. So I have a peculiar thing in my chart and in my experience after 75 years of living in this body. It is that oftentimes I study something and then I come to the shortcut that kind of wakes you up and everything gets simpler. An example is I taught driver training very professionally, and I found the best system, the Smith system, aiming high and space cushion, and it's very successful, and I proved it on the ground. Lowered handyvan's accident rate from 21 to 3 per month. And in the end, after all the training and all the details, I discovered the shortcut. Pretend you have no brakes. Yes, you want to make your driving better? Pretend you have no brakes. So anyway, I'm coming to that fork in the path with astrology, and I've been coaxing you into it slowly and saying, you know, astrology really isn't there to analyze your personality. It's there so you can launch the right starting time. More on that after the sky mirror. Let's do the nuts and bolts first. Okay, we're here to do program 1049. 1049 weeks I've served you without pay. Never missed one. It's my gift to you. Well, we're going to cover the second week in January 2017. And you notice all my notes here on full moons and new moons. A little explanation here, okay? Is every full moon sets a vibe, and it goes for a month until the next full moon. We can detect what the vibe is by the location of the moon. For instance, you had a full moon here back second week in December at 22 Gemini, and it trined Jupiter and sextiled Uranus. It opposed Saturn. It doesn't like the businessman, the bankers, the guys in the black and white. Saturn, no. It likes the activist. It likes the independent, free-thinking Aquarian spirit and truth and wisdom. And today, which is December 5th for me, I'm doing this early, they stopped the pipeline at Standing Rock. Yeah, there's 5, 6, 7,000 people there. 4,000 veterans joined. There's 11, 12,000 people there. They have private cops shooting rubber bullets and hurting people dreadfully. The FBI should be there, but they're Saturn. They won't do a damn thing. No, the people did this, and wisdom did this. You know, people from the tribes of Woodstock, activists, environmentalists. That oil is the worst, dirtiest oil there is in the world. Yeah, shale oil. Anyway, Saturn didn't get his way for a month. Now, we're going to have another full moon on January 12th. This full moon's at 22 degrees of Cancer. There's about 6 of them at the end of the year. They always hit the same number. That's where the action is, you know, from September through about March, April the next year. This number is 22. Now, this full moon on January 12th squares Uranus. All of the independent, free-thinking protesters are going to have a tough time. Squares Jupiter. Yeah. So this is not good. This blocks all the attempts of the wise professor lawyers and the independent free thinkers. And then blocking, that's what a square does. It's like a rock in your path. It tries to stop things. So it goes on for a month. And now you understand how a full moon cycle moves. The new moons are similar. The new moon cycle, which is set off 2 weeks, sets the vibe. New moons, sun and moon get together. Mom and dad have a meeting. They set policy for the next month. On full moons, mom and dad get together, but they fight a little bit. They still set some policy for the month following. But the new moon, in a way, is much stronger because mom and dad are in agreement. Now, we had an agreement, a mom and dad agreement on the prior new moon at 8 degrees of Capricorn. And it sextiled Neptune and said, oh yeah, Neptune is great. And then we'll have one that doesn't like Neptune and one that does. And it changes every month for 6-7 months. Every time there's a new moon, how we see Neptune in our inner and outer universe changes on the new moons. Now you wonder why all those American Indians in the old films said, let's think about this for a moon or two, or let's come back in 6 moons. And they counted these moons. They knew that every time there was a moon, it changed everything. You know, and it's best to wait it out and see what the next change is. Especially here, when you're from September, October through March, April, you got a one good one, bad one, good one, bad one. You know, you don't want to do something at the beginning of this string or you're going to be caught in the rocking boat. You want to wait till the last one, good one, bad one, good one. When you get a good rocking at the end of 6-7 months of these, you know, go ahead on that one, because there won't be more rockings ahead. So there's a lot of wisdom to be gathered by watching these strings of lunations. You won't see this in American astrology or Western astrology. But American Indians know, and Rollin Lee Frost, the Viking shaman, knows, because I studied it for 40 years, yes. Okay, end of full moon, new moon lessons. Let's get at the sky mirror and see what's going on. Now remember, this isn't your chart. This is the generic chart. This is the way everybody feels. These are the vibes of what it's like when you're out in public. Now what's going on? Well, Jupiter is opposing Uranus. A lot of fat cat lawyers and rich billionaires are opposing the people and the activists and the ones that want to save your water from lead and oil pollution, etc. Now, Saturn is up here, sextile Jupiter. Here's the judge. He can talk to the lawyers. Hopefully he can also, there's a trine to Uranus. And Saturn can maybe mediate this argument. He can get these two parties together and do something. Notice the sun here is in Capricorn. As the sun moves up by late next week for you, it will hit 22 degrees of Capricorn. And when it does, it's going to square Jupiter, square Uranus, throw out Saturn. Here's some leaders, here's mayors, here's governors, here's presidents saying, I'm important, I'm the father, and they're going to mess everything up, mess it all up, lock it up again for a while. So, you know, you can learn a lot from this planetary pattern. Here's old Neptune. Neptune, you know, we got a lot of goodies for Neptune right now at 10 degrees. Venus is going to move up there towards your end of your next week, around Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And Venus is going to go by Neptune and sweeten the pot. And they'll tell the North Dakota populace, okay, we'll give you all $10,000 a year if we can build the pipeline. Because a billionaire is going to make $3 or $4 billion. He can afford it. You're going to buy into it? I don't know. Neptune's tricky. Look out. Okay, we're going to follow the moon around the edge of this planetary pattern and get down to your world day by day. See what the generic vibes are, okay? Now, if you're on a Thursday show, Thursday night, That puts you right here. Well, Thursday morning the moon went by Uranus, a little shaky and quaky and twirly, and you got interrupted. Yeah, and you know it's just as it's supposed to be. On Friday, January 6th, starts with a nice trine to Mercury. Oh boy, we got moving, everything's going, we're communicating. Feels good, doesn't it? Kids are happy. Here in the middle of the day and in the afternoon, early afternoon, there's a nice sextile to Venus. There's some sweet times here, some relaxation, some fun, some love. Continues right through Friday, which is Venus's day. Nice day to be with people you love. And then here about 4 o'clock in the morning, there's a sextile to Neptune, and it gets dreamy and religious, patriotic, colorful. The higher heart comes out here. Maybe somebody will change their mind about things. Yeah, that would be nice. A lot of people need to change their minds, especially the Neptune people. The pesticides and the drugs and the oil, eek! Lions and tigers and bears. Anyway, you'll have a chance to diffuse Neptune after the next new moon. Yes. Now, Mars rears his head Saturday morning. Here's a nice sextile to Mars. Get out and do things. Do the chores. Do the fixing. This could be sports, of course. We're in, the football season. Everybody's going to go rah-rah and wear their colors. And I don't like this. To me, it's like patriotism. It's just get together in a group and feel safe and rage for the right team. Well, it doesn't matter who's right or wrong, does it? As long as you're on the right team. Oh, boy. I don't like Neptune much for that fact. I belong to this church. No, this football game. No, this country. No, these are misplaced loyalties, folks, that have been used by corporate religion for a long time to manipulate you. You might discover that after lunch. Here's a nice trine to the Sun and Pluto. There's discovery. What are you going to do about this? It's enough just to understand. Once you understand, you see it clear, can't be changed. Saturday's like that. Could be a beautiful time. Nice Friday, nice Saturday. Continues through Sunday till the middle of the day when the moon shifts into Gemini. And then it all turns kind of sour. Here in the afternoon is a square to the south. No, we need help. And Venus is not. When there's no sweets, I can't get no satisfaction. That's Sunday night. Not a good time to go on a date. Monday morning, here's the square to Neptune. Bad smells, water problems, liquid problems. Did I believe that? Oh boy, then there's impatience and angry in the middle of Monday from the Mars square. So Sunday and Monday are just kind of the opposite of Friday and Saturday, aren't they? They're full of stress. A lot of piss and vinegar there. It changes finally. Here's a little Aquarian enlightenment. Comes in Monday, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, when the moon sextiles Uranus and trines Jupiter. And there's wisdom here. Why don't the lawyers and the law help us, activists and environmentalists? And it all seems a little optimistic Monday night. But look at here. Here, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, on our clock. The square to Saturn. And the judge says, halt. Well, you can't do that. We're not going to have freedom here. No, halt. Gotta go with the law. Ugh. Tuesday morning, cold. Continues through Tuesday afternoon when there's an opposition to Mercury. And, Mercury goes direct on the 7th. So up until the 7th, back here, you had Mercury retrograde for 3 weeks. You're going short trips and communications. Half of them have to be done twice. Once you get up into this zone, it's a lot better. You don't have to do all that stuff twice. Yeah, so here's tough Mercury Tuesday, and not easy. But as you go, this is a moon in Cancer, okay? Starting Tuesday afternoon, difficulties with communication. But there's a sweet spot here. Tuesday night, early Wednesday morning, some love. Young people are out holding hands. There's music. It feels kind of nice, huh? But it's some way it's a false start, because Wednesday night, Here is the full moon. And, you know, it's in Cancer. Squares Uranus. Stop that activist. Stop Aquarian freedom. We don't want that. Stops Jupiter. No more lawyers and wisdom. No. And gets rid of Pluto. We don't care about what your investigators say or what you think should happen with the sun. So this is a nasty stopping point here. You want to stop something? Wednesday night, Thursday morning, time to do it. At full moon. There's a lot of lunacy here. A lot of exaggerated emotion. This is a lousy Wednesday night. The less you do, the better. Continues through Thursday. Might break a little bit Thursday afternoon when the moon goes into Leo. Might. I don't know. I don't think that this is such a mess, this full moon. It ain't going to calm down through Thursday and Friday. Friday the 13th, it's still a mess. We're all tied up, can't get anything done, scared. Everybody's scared, you know. Saturday morning, you get a break. You know, early, here's the sextile to Uranus. Later at breakfast, there's a trine to Jupiter. Here's Saturn's happy. All the good guys settle down here. The judge, Saturn, the law, the Jupiter, the wise professors. Uranus, the union guys, the activists. They're all in harmony Saturday morning. They're having a meeting. I hope they do good. Saturday night, moon shifts. It's into Virgo, into Earth. Goes by the North Node here Sunday morning. So Saturday night's pretty good time. You could get your act together and do things that are good here. And it continues through Sunday, and there's a lot of nurturing here. And just around breakfast or after breakfast, here's the trine to Mercury. And Mercury is slowed down, he's stopping, so good time to write, teach, talk, walk, Sunday morning, be with the kids, listen to the children. They don't want that damn pipeline. They want to save the oil for their children. Well, enough, Frost. Can't help it sometimes, folks. I'm an old oil man. I got experience. This is the poor part of my life when I was a young fool. So, here's Neptune, and we're squaring him, and Venus, and we don't care how much money they pay us. We're going to leave the oil in the ground and not pollute the earth more. Global warming is real. What? Angry? What? Your angry people are out Monday morning on the 16th with the square to Mars. Are you sure these just aren't people rooting for a football team? Probably. We should have some patience. Okay, here's the story. 45 years ago, I was a young chemical engineer type working with Dow and had an office in the plant at Torrance where they made all the napalm. And I'd been raised, you know, in a very straight-laced way, but yet I had a funny chart. Anyway, opportunities come along. And I was sitting in a great house with a pool I built myself with a slide and diving board. I contracted it. I had a fat job in the oil fields in Long Beach, and it was easy. I could go 3 days a week and get it done. So I was kind of on top of things. And Dow gave me a brand new station wagon every 2 years and paid for all of its use, and Beverly could use it too. Well, why am I telling you all this? Because there I was 45 years ago, and Beverly picked up a book. She is very bright and had a great memory, and I think it was Heaven Knows What, one of those paperbacks. Now, I was a hardcore chemical engineer type. What, astrology? Ridiculous. But she's reading this book, and it has a table in it about moon signs. Yeah, and she can look up people's moon sign, kind of simple. So she's looking up all the people she knows, and she says to me one night, you know, we have about 6 friends who have Gemini moons. And she names them. Bang, bang, here's John, Mary, Ted, blah, blah. And I flashed their faces. You remember faces. You know, a lot of your brain is set up to do that. And they all had like little kids' faces. And then she says, oh, here's another 6 friends, have Capricorn moons. and she named them. And, you know, when I looked at there, they had old faces. Gemini moons, like the kid, Mercury had little kid faces. Capricorn moons had serious, older faces. And I said, wait a minute, what's going on here? There's something to this. Let me see that book. And I started studying astrology. Now, back in those days, astrology was, there were things in the newspaper that said for entertainment only. And anybody that studied it went after silly sun sign stuff. What they did find out was that air and fire signs, you know, tend to be extroverts. Water and earth signs, introverts. Oh, big deal. But the moon sign definitely expresses your face. You copy your mother's face in the first year or two of life. All the expressions, you know, and the emotions, the body language. We call it personality. It's a copy of your mother's personality, or the lady you were raised with first couple of years. Anyway, I understand that, but most people in Western astrology do not. So it went on and on and on, and all the books are all about, if you want to learn astrology, what for? Your personality. Oh yeah, you can look into your personality and tell you why does this person lose their temper? Well, they're Aries. Why are they lazy? Oh, they're Taurus. And pretty soon they're doing sun sign astrologies. You know, and books came out, and everybody thought astrology is all about analyzing your personality. Very few got to the place where they started doing compatibility. You know, does this lady love me? What kind of chart am I compatible with? And most of the ladies in America learned some basic astrology. And they would ask you, what's your sign? And you'd tell them your sun sign, of course, which is your father. And they would say, oh, is that compatible with my sun sign? And, you know, bullshit. Sorry. But, you know, it works a little bit, and it encouraged them. But what the truth was is that maybe astrology got planted by the ladies. And they used it for lady stuff, which is the internal stuff. You know, your all those things inside you, and finding out who people are. And all the books are written about this, and there's still plenty around. And is that what astrology is for? No. Benjamin Franklin, huh? For 20 years he had his almanac. He was an astrologer. He knew astrology pretty well, huh? What did Ben say about it all? Benjamin Franklin said in his almanac of 1751, Poor Richard's Almanac, Ben said astrology is one of the ancient science held in high esteem. He said formerly no prince would make war or peace, nor any general fight a battle. You know, and in short, no important affair was undertaken without first consulting an astrologer who examined the aspects and configurations of the heavens and marked the lucky hour. Mark the lucky hour? Yeah, whatever's going by the rising sign goes by for an hour or two, has kind of the same vibes, because the ruler of the rising sign is important. Ben said, now the noble art, shame to the age we live in, has dwindled into contempt. And nobody consults with us anymore, except to know when they should cut their corn or gild their pigs. Ben was disgusted. Astrology is when to start things. Here's a rocket. A Russian rocket blew up. I did the chart. It had a lot of problems. When you look at the chart, I wouldn't leave the house on this chart, and I wouldn't launch my rocket on this chart. These guys need astrology. Okay, how do you get started at this? You don't want to go snoop around at all these people and figure out their personalities. You want to know when to make the important call, when to leave the house, when to start things, when to launch your spaceship. Here's an Android tablet, an El Cheapo. Here's a more expensive iPhone. Here's Apple. Here's Androids. Now, I'm going to show you how you can get the chart of now and adjust it with these instruments. First, for your Apple product, you want Sky Mirror. Yes, it's $10 at the App Store. And works on any of the iPhone, iPad, any of that stuff. It's easy to find because it's on SkyMirrorAstrology.com. And if you put /TV on, you get my website. But without the /TV, it'll go and show you how to get that app for your Apple. Okay, here's a chart of now. One tap of my finger in my location, even for elevation. This thing is beautiful. And if you don't like the chart you're about to leave on, you can adjust it and find a much better chart to launch your rocket. Okay, here's your alternative. My son Matt gave me this. This is an Amazon Fire tablet. Great for entertainment. Great for a lot of stuff. Here's the thing. There's an app, and it's free. And the app is called Aquarius to Go. There's what you see at the App Store. Aquarius to Go. Now, I don't know who made this, and it's got some funny symbols on it, but it matches the rising sign from my solar fire computer. The planets are accurate. It will give you the chart of now in your location. And even though there's a few planets, I don't even know what this is, this L. And they got Pluto down as a circle with a line through it. And I don't know whose these symbols are not strictly American astrology. There's Chiron. But here's the way they got Uranus. It's a circle with a dot, like a Mars with a dot. Anyway, you get used to it. And here's your data. Here's where everything is. And they even tell you when the moon is void of course. It's probably some kind of European or something. Whatever it is, this is the universal language, folks. So go to the App Store, whatever little kind of thing you've got, whether it's a phone or a tablet, you can get Aquarius to Go on that little tool. And now you've got both. You got the tools, folks, to find out what now is like. That's really important. Years ago, I started when I checked, what was it, the Challenger accident. And it was a safety problem, and I'm a safety professional, and you know, the guys in the suits and the bankers and stuff overruled the safety professionals, and we killed all those people and had that disaster. So there's a couple books written on it, but when I looked at the chart of the launch, oh, it's terrible. And I started collecting them. And this one is fun and interesting to study because look at this, here's Venus opposing it very closely. You really don't want any planet opposing you.